showed, you know. So
What the heck is this?
Drago said he's playing. What did he say to me? He said he's only playing. Yeah, he said all Joker and what's the Incineroar? Now I see Pac-Man. So
all right.
Don't ask me.
Well, okay. Somehow we're in winners' quarters already. What's going on?
That makes sense because I know that Mustang already beats Tempo, the really good Yoshi player.
Okay.
And I want to say that probably was round 2.
Oh, what we just saw before this.
What we saw Mustang's match before this.
I see.
This is likely is actually round 3 and
Okay.
winners quarters. Matter of fact, I got the magic of the internet. Let's see what's up.
Nice. So yeah, at this point we see that Drago opted for Pac-Man, and it's like, don't get me wrong, not a bad character, not a bad option for this matchup in particular, but I'm not familiar with Drago's Pac-Man, so I couldn't tell you if this is a smart pick or what, but I know that Mustang probably has a solid idea of what to do here, and he's got to just execute. Yep, there you go.
Yep.
Cover those get-up options. Pac-Man's got a good recovery, but it can get a little stale. You can figure out the options that they're going for to get back to stage, and yeah, a big move like that up smash will definitely take care of it. Don't fall into these forward air gimmicks.
Right.
That move doesn't do what you think it does.
Hey, you play Pac-Man?
I did. I do.
I know.
He's there. I had to figure out the character, you know. I want to see what the hype was about, or if there even was any. But or why is this character so good? I decided to look into it to dissect why is this character so good. And it's really just a lot of those conditional sort of game plans. Like, you're not really active as Pac-Man whatsoever, but you have the options to call out obvious options from your player, from the opponent, and they will sort of fall into your moves sometimes, and that's where Pac-Man can just capitalize. It's really just setting up traps that your opponent will fall into, and your traps are very strong. So Drago using that bell to a T and just calling out the jump, getting off ledge, and that'll seal out that stock. It's not too bad right now either. He's just got to... I don't know, man. The disjoints from Palu can be a thorn in Pac-Man's sides, and getting off a ledge against that down tilt is also pretty tricky.
Right. It can be tricky, but there's a lot of situations where Pac-Man can be okay, right? Because his nair out of shield's pretty good. Kind of reset the situation. If he needs to stall, he can stall high in the air with down air.
Yeah.
So what I want to see Drago do, see if he can bring it back to one stock, and then from there, like, kind of take over the pace of the game. Because right now, it feels like we're playing at Mustang's pace.
Right.
There we go. So can he change the pace, right? Can he give himself enough time to recover? Can he give himself enough time to
he's got to
farm whatever item he needs, right? I think the other thing, too, is, like, Drago doesn't traditionally play his character. I know he's put some reps into it, but not many, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, can you get, like, Galaga loops, right? Can you get different stuff like that? And I don't see it yet.
It's what you were talking about before, where you need that space and that time to set up. Pac-Man, when he's trying to approach you or trying to aggress without getting these setups going, is not very good.
Right.
The thing that makes him so strong is that if you play the off game, like not necessarily running away, but keeping your distance to set up and focusing on setting up, that makes it tricky for the other player, and they have to play to your pacing. But you're right before. If you're trying to play to Mustang's pacing in this case, Pac-Man is not going to do those things unless he's trying to actively set up while matching that pace. You have to do sort of two things at once, but when you do two things at once, it works. And why the hell did that dash attack kill?
Just because he was holding up. He was holding up. Kind of unfortunate right at the end, too, because he actually brought that game all the way back.
Yeah.
He was controlling space well, but then more importantly, like, he was getting hits off of, like, Hydrant.
Right.
But what he started to do at the end that actually lost him the game was he had Mustang pin, but then he was, like, pulling items and throwing them immediately, right? Whereas instead, it's like, you kind of put the fear in Mustang to where he's slowing down a little bit. So now you have time to farm whatever item you want. Like, if you want to get Bell, or if you want to get even Key or something, you had time. But instead, he was just, like, throwing, like, he got Cherry through it, like, immediately. And you just, like, you don't have to toss them out that quickly when you have put that person in a position where they're respecting your options.
Yeah, they're already on their back foot. There's no need to try to keep them on their back foot by throwing stuff at them. It's more so using that space to get better options.
Agreed. And I think he just rushed it because he kind of was feeling like, oh, I could get this kill now. I could close out the game.
Yeah.
And you gotta understand, it's like, what got me there? Is it continuing to happen, or is that maintaining? If so, then can I kind of take it to the next level with, in this case, being a better fruit, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's why I think this just like the name of the game wasn't there for Drago in terms of Pac-Man by staying on his back foot and like farming your better options. He was trying to aggress, which, like I was saying, with Pac-Man doesn't work too well when you're trying to aggress, and that makes sense for the switch to Fox. I think he just wants to beat up Mustang. And you can't do that as Pac-Man, but you can do it as Fox.
True. You better be careful, though.
Yeah. Almost. Almost caught him.
We'll see. I do know that Mustang does have some Fox experience playing against Gale. Nice. So he understands how the character works. Matter of fact, I've seen him beat Fox before with freaking Ganon. So he understands how this matchup goes. I think one thing I forgot to mention at the start of the broadcast is that we're actually in our off week this week, and so I think a lot of people are also just kind of playing whoever they feel like playing. That's why Gallon was doing that, right?
Right, that makes sense.
And that's why Drago's doing this, because he's like, doesn't. It doesn't matter quite as much, right? So
yeah. And for those unfamiliar, the off week meaning that this tournament does not count towards PR. So people's results and rankings don't really matter for the next season, but it's still a good opportunity to flex whatever different muscles you got to work with.
Which is good. We get to see stuff we don't normally get to see.
Yeah.
Sometimes it even results in bracket, like player versus player matchups we don't normally see, because say character who would or player who would normally go like a round further or whatever doesn't make it because they're like, oh, I want to try another character out.
Yeah.
So we get to see some pretty interesting matchups. I actually haven't seen these two guys play in forever. So
yeah, I was
it is
gonna say,
cool to see.
It was a little jarring because I thought we were still in winners round 1 whenever they came up to the stream setup. I was like, what is going on? Now, clearly we are deeper in bracket, and deservingly so, these guys are here facing off against each other. But right now, I think Mustang is trying to say that he wants this dub to keep on. Like, he's not messing around on this off. Like, he just wants to play and get further in bracket with his characters. And I know these aren't like conventional characters for Drago, but he's also a dubs connoisseur with the Randubs, so he knows a lot of characters. So whether or not he's like making these weird picks to just like flex a certain character, he's got the knowledge of a large majority of the cast. So it doesn't matter who he picks, he's gonna pretty much know what to do with them.
Right. Yeah, he knows how to play these characters. Mustang said, I'm just clocking into work.
Oh, yeah, calling the option after the down throw. That forward smash is going to seal it with a kiss.
He said, in the arms of an angel.